I wish good things to you who's watching this. I am Alexey, and this is the finals of the 2024 Latvia Carcassonne Online Championships. The prize for which, most importantly, is the qualification to the Carcassonne Champions League group stage. And the second place will still not leave empty-handed. The second place will have to play in the international qualifier with second place national championship finishers from other countries. Our finalists are Yanis Ansens napalmEye, who completely crushed the preliminary stage, winning all 6 of his 6 encounters, and then defeated Anyway, and then Krish Couches is the opponent, who is the rating favorite, and I'd say is, in his peak form, undoubtedly one of the strongest players in the world, the reigning Mind Sports Olympiad Grand Prix title holder. So this should be quite an exciting duel. So without further ado, we're just going to jump in. Alright, so the players have already started, and napalmEye with the 4 points on the scoreboard, Krisna with 3 points, presumably from this closed road over here. napalmEye playing with his traditional blue meeples, Krisna with a bit more patriotic meeple colors in dark red. This is going to be a best of 3 encounter with a very typical format for online tournaments. And I have a very interesting move here from napalmEye. This was actually a very awkward tile to place. So you see you have this Krisna's monastery over here controlling all the squares, and that's why monasteries are so powerful, because normally what you want to do with this tile as blue is just like start a new city somewhere. But now you can't do that profitably enough, because you will be forced to add not 1 but 2 points to Red's monastery whilst building that city. So instead, he simply chose to make a move which benefits him positionally. It doesn't really do much, but it does a little bit. It makes it harder for Red to take over this big city with a triangle and a cow tile. So there's certainly potential for these cities being developed. And let's say if Red gets a triangle and tries to invade the city like this, then Blue could draw any tile that goes here to block or invade. And sort of the purpose of this is, of course, to create a platform. Now there are also some scenarios where Red gets a splitter tile, in which case Blue would already be 1 step closer to finishing a 10-point city himself. So now Blue starts a new 3-point road. It has upsides and downsides. The downside, of course, being is that it sticks into what will likely become a shared city. And then Blue will be forced to place a tile over here to get his road meeples back. And there's also another problem that 2 out of 6 tiles which go there, you see these 2 barbed wire tiles, they already have gone out. So we have only 1 tile like this. And of course we have the horse, which goes there. And now, for example, so Yanis will need to decide whether he wants to go over here just to add 1 point to his road and bring this city closer to completion, or maybe he wants to start a new city. I would actually go for starting a new city, and I would not shy away from adding a point to to Red's monastery, because in this particular instance, this would be incredibly annoying for Red. So by starting a new city, Red has created another monastery spot for a 5-point monastery available for use, and starting a new city over here would eliminate that spot, and it certainly more than compensates for the immediate loss of 1 point. It would also make it harder for red to complete his city, because let's say if red finishes his city in this situation, then there will be immediately a blocking platform against red available, and this is why blue chooses to do exactly that. Now, I'm a bit surprised about red that red didn't go over here, but they must know something that I don't, which they definitely do. So one of the reasons I wanted to stream this match is because krisna has a very unique, has a unique playing style. It's so some of his prioritization decisions are a bit counterintuitive, but this, of course, was done to save the integrity of this city. There were some scenarios where maybe blue gets a big tile, like we could quadruple tile, and then maybe gets another big tile, and then basically blocks off this meeple and this monastery. It's not at all that unlikely, given that 3 out of 4 starting tiles have already gone out, so there's less security in building around this monastery that way. Another interesting thing about krisna's style is that he tends to, probably more than any other player in the world, open multiple cities at the same time. So players now generally know about the principle of 2 cities. But look at this, he has actually, well, 4 open cities, one of them is shared. But there was also a very good reason for opening each one. And we're going to come back to that move in a second. It's actually rather fascinating. So here, krisna was adding 1 point. Then here, he didn't want to finish that city because he wanted to preserve the threat of attacking this. And here, he started a new city to create a 5-point monastery spot, as we talked before, and to harass this piece of road, and it worked like a charm. So you see on a couple of moves ago, krisna took these 3 points for this road, and then it obstructed the development of this road, so now only a crossroad fits over here. But moreover, when blue drew this here monastery, there were actually only 2 legal squares on the entire board where this monastery could be placed. Over here or over here, where blue did end up placing it. And in both of these squares, blue is actually hurting himself a little bit. Because look at this. Well, now obviously here, this created a vulnerability for this road, and krisna chose not to block. Had he chosen to block with a curve, then of course he already would have drawn this quadruple road tile, and these meeples would be dead. But of course they're not dead, because there's still 3 tiles that fit into that square, so 88% chance of recovering those meeples. And this complex will likely compensate for the scoreboard lead that krisna currently has. Now 3 extra points go to Giannis. Krisna, though, manages to develop his field as a result, so that curve opens a lot of green squares. Now currently these squares are covered by blue monasteries, so red can't really build there. But the important part is that blue can't really build cities in other places either. There are actually no green squares on the entire, well, I guess there's this square, right? So probably we actually might see napalmEye go there to restrict this meeple. There are only 2 tiles that fit into that square. It certainly looks like a worthy move. And we can see that red is trying to restrict blue the other way. And this one I find quite interesting, because I wonder why red didn't turn this curve the other way, because there would be only 2 tiles remaining. 1 T-shaped crossroads with a city cap and 1 starting tile. That way there's still 3 tiles remaining that fit into that square. I presume Red's intention is to actually go over here and finish up the block. But it's very difficult to do. It's way difficult to do than one might seem. Because let's say if Krishna now goes over here, it's very easy to defend either like this, directly, or like this, indirectly. Let's say like taking 2 points with the crossroads and then threatening Red's city in return. But it's all not over. So Krish, instead of blocking on here, chooses to try and block the other city, the other feature of napalmEye, which is actually his 4-point road. And now that Giannis drew this curve, this road is actually looking pretty good, because he could get a curve and a straight line and a curve and finish this monstrosity over here. It's not all that unlikely, a little bit less likely after this draw. Alrighty, that's of course is an amazing tile for Krish. Oh yeah, so I've been of course speaking very highly of Krishna on a lot of my streams, but just wanted to say that napalmEye has really added a lot to his game and to his rating as well. So I believe him winning all 6 encounters of the preliminary stages of this championship was not at all an accident. And as you can see, rating-wise, it's closer to a coin flip. Experience-wise, I would say that Krisna is still the favorite, but that's because he just like the favorite in pretty much any matches that he plays. Alrighty. Let me have a look at the chat a little bit. The curve effectively eliminates Doritos and CCCs as continuation for Blues City. Oh, right. Right. Although I'm not sure exactly which curve you mean, because there have been several curves already deployed. Well, now Yannick's in a bit of a think. So this move from Krishna is very interesting. He takes a 2-point monastery, but of course the purpose of this 2-point monastery is such that it controls these 2 squares. So the idea, of course, is to block everything here and build 1 monastery for 8 points with just 1 meeple trapped, and blue would have 2 meeples trapped. Now, the reason why this is unlikely to work is because, let's say, even if red draws a tile like this and puts it over here, there will be still 3 city caps that fit into that square, and in fact, there are just plenty of city caps that go here. So the attempt on the block is just marginal value. The main purpose of this move is to simply freeload from these 2 points, because it is blue that has the incentive of adding tiles here. For example, now blue could actually do that. And we can see that blue was a few moves ago preparing to block Krishna's city, but with this curve, Krishna delayed that blocking attempt successfully, drastically reducing the number of blocking tile that fit into that square. 8 more points to his scoreboard, and that's already quite the formidable lead for the reigning Mind Sports Olympia champion. Now napalmEye adding a city piece to his monastery, but that of course is to prepare the recovery of this meeple. So the idea is that when he gets one of the 2 crossroads that fit here, he'd be able to immediately get 2 meeples back. The downside of that move is that it leaves this city up for grabs, which is exactly what is Giannis's problem right now. Well, actually, this is a fantastic tile. As Giannis, you can probably go here and just continue this block. Although what you really want to do, you kind of want to go here and connect these two cities and block them. So let's say you go over here and you get the last remaining giraffe's neck. And then you get your meeple back and you get these two city meeples trapped. The problem with that move is that all three of the vertical city splitters are still in the deck, so it's actually quite easy for red to divide the top city from the bottom city and still gets his points. Yeah, so that's why Giannis goes for the block, but immediate city cap for Krisna, and that was a very likely event. Still, like, lots of city caps in this pool. But of course, it's a move that you have to make as Giannis, given that there are so few blocking tiles remaining that once you draw them, you kind of have to use it. The downside of this move, well, there's no downside of this move, but just wanted to point out a couple of places where blue might have needed that tile. One of these places is over here. Another one is actually over here to continue his road. Now we can see that blue is really having meeple troubles, sort of dumping this tile now, but not for nothing. This is for protection of this road, so he really wants to draw a curve and another curve and get this long road going and a meeple back, and maybe he could fight for the field and so on and so on. And of course he wants to prevent red from blocking this road essentially, because like with a simple curve, red could go over here and make sure that blue needs the same type of crossroads in both places, also known as the Sophie's Choice block. Yeah, and now look at this monastery. It's looked so counterintuitive with the 2 points, but these monasteries get developed very fast. So as predicted, red did freeload of these 2 tiles added by blue. On top of that, red somehow managed to escape with an 8-point city, and on top of that, red managed to create himself some more green squares for field development. Yeah, and we can see that the meeple's trouble really getting to blue. He kind of just chose to dump this splitter on the left. I would have probably chosen a different spot. So yeah, so this is the interesting thing. When you don't want to leave a city cap empty normally, but if you have to, it's actually better to leave 2 city caps empty than 1. So a move that I would have played as blue was to go over here, because the probability of red drawing 2 city caps to clean off both the 4-pointers before we draw at least one of a city cap is actually quite low. It's just over 20%. Well, with this exact tile pool, I'm not sure, but it is quite rare for that to happen. Well, not impossible. And an additional factor is the fact that red already has 1 open city. So if we put enough pressure on red, as Giannis is doing right now with this road, then red might be incentivized to finish his city before claiming one of the empty 4-point cities. So the point is, like, if we drop this cap over here, then we typically benefit from them a bit more often than our opponent does. So now, for example, there is no empty city cap, so Krisna doesn't have really any dilemma. He can just finish his city, but will he? So we can see that Giannis is trying to block this square. This, of course, creates a vulnerability in this square, but it doesn't appear to be a factor until blue actually draws one of the 2 tiles that frees up him the monastery. Oh, by the way, you just kind of noticed that Krish... Yeah, thank you, Ymaze, for spotting that Krish drew all the 3 daggers that fit into this square. So he didn't even need to continue this block. So this happens actually quite rarely, just over 12% of the time. But that's what this game is like. So blue will need a different passage to coming back into this game, and it's not all that unrealistic, because like these meeples will really give blue a lot. Yeah, finally blue gets his meeples back, and finally it is a game. I mean, surely there's only one move that's acceptable here. Well, unless you want to go really, really creative and take 2 points over here and then get this long road and then hope to get the final crossroads later. Not something that I would necessarily do, simply because we need meeples right now as the firepower. And if red draws a curve and ties our road, so be it. But in reality, red is actually not that big of a favorite to do it. So the good thing about us getting a meeple back now is that this will enable some higher risk plays later on. So what we could do, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I see that one of the Doritos is still in play, so maybe we could somehow go here and sneak in and take over the city. So this is a potential source of volatility on this board. I'm a bit alarmed by how long blue is thinking. So Giannis tends to be quite methodical and one of the slower players, like in a good way, one of the more deliberate players, you know, sort of to triple check that he isn't doing anything stupid. But sometimes you just have to go with the move. Just get a move and just do it. So for example, now this is a good time to think, and this is a moment where you really would like to have your full tank of time available to you. A move that I would consider is an immediate field fight. I think this appears to be, well, it's interesting actually. This is actually a fantastic move. So my first concern was that this square could be blocked, and so maybe it wasn't a good idea to occupy the city, but actually this square can't be blocked. Well, okay, it can be blocked, but it's very difficult because there are very few city plus road tiles. But, well, for example, this is a horse, and there's one more horse like this available. But that's not all. This move actually restricts Krisna's cities by so much, it's almost impossible to continue, because all 4 starting tiles are out, all 4 barbed wires are out, and all 3 daggers are out. So there's actually no city cap that fits into that square, and the only way to finish that city is to draw a sequence of a Dorito plus a regular city cap, which is not the most likely sequence in the world. Now Giannis needs to find, I think, his best move, and that's not that move. Well, it's okay, right? It's okay. It sort of protects that square, but actually, I think a stronger move was going over here 1 square higher and dropping a farmer, setting up a field connection through either this 5-point road, which of course Krisna would have drawn, but we didn't know that, or through through a Dorito, or through the 1 remaining regular city cap. So, you know, when there are few options, actually he can still do it now. Like, he can, of course he can go over here, that's an option as well, but if he can just go over here and drop a farmer, that will still be just as powerful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No straight lines remaining, sadly. Yeah, so then that wouldn't work. But yeah, with sort of when you're behind like this on the scoreboard, you kind of need to be a little bit more efficient and a bit more proactive in the field fight. So the idea behind this farmer, why I really liked it so much, even though it's actually would, no, it still can work. It still can work because there are still 2 splitters remaining. So there are no Doritos, but there are splitters. The reason why I like this idea so much is because it would be a very efficient way of invading the farm. So you would be completing the monastery and invading the farm at the same time. Because in order to win this as Blue, I believe we need a complete takeover of the field. Red had really pillaged and plundered with quick points, and as well, blue needs to do something about this. So now actually blue is pretty close to finishing another monastery, and there's still 2 monasteries in the deck. There's a sizable number of curves as well, so in all likelihood red is getting even this meeple back as well. Alrighty. Yeah, thank you, Wise Mates, for pointing in the chat that, of course, this city can be finished with an even longer sequence of triple city plus 2 city caps, but that is actually even less likely to occur. Okay, so now napalmEye would have connected to the farm already had he tried that move that we talked about, but okay. What can we do here? So we certainly want some sort of invasion, but there's a problem that we can't invade over here through this square because it's the last tile of its kind. So the invasion using this city cap like this, it actually doesn't work anymore. Yeah, I failed to find a good use for this tile. Well, actually, no, I think I do. Maybe we go over here and we might actually go for the ruin. You know what? I see something. So there's the triple city tile still available. And it would be a good gamble to hope that this triple city tile would be ours. Because if red draws it, red equalizes the city, and we really, really hope that we're going to draw it. So what we could have done, we could have gone over here and meepled this city and tried to take over this bigger city with a combination of cow plus triple city tile. So this, of course, is not the most likely sequence in the world, but there's still 2 of these guys. So there were still 2 triple cities with a field available at the time. We can see that now, by the way, Krisna is blocking a field connection. So this was a viable invasion platform, and well, yeah, I think, of course, now only one move available for napalmEye is to go here and invade the farm. I would say that anything else would be a mistake. Of course, you could go here, but like you can't really. I mean, there's really no point in blocking the square because there's only one tile that fits there, and that tile is already needed by red in another spot. So yeah, I just have to go here, drop a farmer, and then try to find another invasion somehow. The farm is only worth 12 points, but 12 is the most you can get. Oh, yeah, I can see that actually. Here's how we try and win. So we go here, drop a farmer, invade, then we go here and use this platform for invasion, which is something that yeah, no, well, it's fun. It's fun to try that one. Invasion through the outside, but I think it's just really napalmEye simply overlooking the existence of this platform. Now Krista can simply block. He can just go here. He doesn't have to take 4 points. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's still 2 curves remaining, but yeah, exactly. He just simply does what he has to do. Well, okay, well, will blue spot this field connection now? A very elegant block here. So not something that you see every day, because of course normally there's so many tiles that go like this. There are 5 Doritos with a road, and and 3 daggers. So 8 tiles that actually allow the completion of the connection, but all 8 of them are on the board and none of them are in the deck. Only 10 seconds on the clock for Giannis. As I said, so time management has been a bit of an issue here. Yeah, and he basically just throws in the towel, but Krisna wins the coin flip for the cow tile anyway. Well, yeah, finally napalmEye gets the splitter, where actually now there's no real point in using the splitter anymore because he doesn't need the meeple, so he just takes the 4 points and he'll simply see the last couple of tiles of this game. What's interesting about this is I would say overall in this game, like, red drew pretty well. Red managed to, well, I guess the main point of annoyment for blue is that red managed to draw all 3 daggers that fits into this square, despite making the block, which is less restrictive than the alternative direction of the curve. And of course, so the timing of this is something that was a bit annoying for blue, having to wait for this crossroads for a relatively long time and having to deal with meeple problems. But overall, I had to say blue had some chances to come back. Certainly some field invasions. You could definitely, like, even with the run out of tiles that it was before, you can easily see blue having 2 farmers on this field instead of 0, having this meeple already in hand, and maybe having a couple of other threats in the position. So for those of you who are just joining, hi Glavir, hi Kirillo. Now, the placement of this monastery, which was, of course, a very vulnerable placement, a very risky placement, that was only done because this was basically the only legal spot on the board to place the monastery. But the reason why it was the only legal spot on the board to place the monastery is that Krisna controlled the space very well early in the opening, kind of not really allowing good monastery spots in any places. So we can see that Krisna finishes the shared city, finally giving both players a meeple back. This of course benefits Krisna because this city is in his field, so 3 extra. Players are asking for a 3-minute pause. And we will use this to talk a bit. First of all, something I should have asked at the start of the stream, do let me know how the sound is. Am I being too loud? Am I being too soft? It is possible to fix it either way. Another thing I wanted to announce that tomorrow I'm streaming the semifinals of the Chilean Online Championship, which also will give the winner a spot in the Carcassonne Champions League 2025. That will be at 16:30 UTC. Announcement on my channel to follow shortly after this. And the reason why I'm excited about the Chilean tournament, it is that it's the one which has gathered the most participants. I believe so, 46 participants trying to qualify for a spot in the Carcassonne Champions League. While that might seem not a lot, but like for the size of Chile's country and community compared to some other big countries such as neighbors Brazil, for example, I would say that is quite an accomplishment. Thank you so much for the kind words. That's the nicest thing I've heard in a while, Kirillo. Hi, Modis. Yeah, overall, I have to say quite a really spectacularly played game by Krisna, and then by Giannis also, but until at some point. And I noticed that sometimes, like, I don't think he could have really won this game with this run out, but I think like one flaw that he has is maybe sometimes playing not risky enough when it's time to risk hard. So certainly we could have seen maybe some fielding. No, I mean, this was actually great. Like this invasion, the idea of it at the very least, but it was just like a tad too late, and maybe there were some other options available. But like at the start, definitely keeping pace very, very well and taking some calculated risk with this road, for example. So not many players would have willingly stuck their road into a shared city on a board where some of the road plus city tiles have already been used up. But look at what this road turned out to be. So that's something that was keeping blue alive in this game, at least for a while. Yeah, and I would say pretty much flawless game from Krisna. So the one, I guess, question I have for him is the decision to, well, the direction of this curve, which of course ended up working up for him, but there was a way to restrict this city a little bit differently. All right, have players started? Yes, they have. So and now napalmEye is starting first, getting a slight statistical advantage. Krisna takes the first monastery and control the first city cap. But the first city cap is drawn by Giannis, and shortly we will see 4 points. Now, when he goes into the tank like this, I am a bit concerned that he might find something experimental. Kirilo said, I like the monastery move by Krisna. Yes, I like his monastery move very much. Just that 2-point monastery turned out to be just probably maybe even game decisive. So many players would have just discarded that tile, but there were some quick 9 points. So napalmEye does indeed get the 4 points. Maybe they needed to attend to a matter outside Carcassonne for a few seconds, or maybe they were generally considering a move like this, simply ignoring the city cap and starting a new city elsewhere, which is doable, but it's risky. It's actually just a negative expected value, because leaving a city cap next to your opponent's monastery is really not something that you want to do. Blue is now trying to restrict the connection of this road over here. Krisna now continuing his monastery. napalmEye should probably go here. Or actually going here is quite powerful as well, yeah. So certainly something to think about for the play with blue meeples. Because the thing is, like, if you go here, yeah, that's why he chooses the other option. Of course, red immediately draws the cap that fits into that square. So now quite the advantage for the red player, of course. This move over here will be pretty much automatic. With a farmer or with a city meeple, yeah, I might have even preferred the farmer. The reason I might have even preferred the farmer is because this field actually looks like it has more potential than you might think. And this is something that we can meeple a little bit later. So let's say, imagine like if red draws a triangle, and then we invade the city by red. So we force red to spend one more meeple on this. Now, I see why some players might not want to drop a farm over here, because it does look like it is quite restricted. But in fact, like with some curves, it will open up itself pretty soon. So yeah, you can see the straight line. So you can see the splitter over here, and so on and so on. This is an option, for example, to go here and develop a new city. Now, red meeples a road which I really like. It will enable red to either fight for this longer road or to bail out and complete a small loop. Red needs to watch out for blue drawing something like a cow tile, which would be quite annoying, but red managed to draw a curve just in time. Blue decides to restrict this city like that. I would have probably preferred the other restriction, but so of course there was the option of occupying this city and pointing this cap downwards. Oh, okay, this has to be a mistake here from... This is just a plain mistake from blue. Unfortunately, you can't leave this sort of stuff empty. You had to... Blue had to just take this new city. Might have been a miss. Might have been... Yeah, because I guess he's trying to attack this road a little bit, but a city tile is probably the worst tile in the deck with which you could do that, because this means that in order to separate these two roads, he will need a city plus road tile, and he'll probably will need a city plus road tile which is not a city cap, because he needs city cap elsewhere, and city caps are generally valuable. And well, the odds of him drawing a city plus road tile before he manages to draw this are actually quite slim. So you see that he managed to draw the crossroads anyway, and instead of splitting, he goes for the greed, and he tries to take over this road from the right, which again makes some sense. I might have done that as well, but Krisna quite fortunate in drawing a crossroads straight away and blocking the entry to the longer road. Yeah, so now red is in some trouble here. No, blue is in some trouble here. The scoreboard, this road threat, the city threat, and red might even succeed in blocking that city. I mean, he probably will succeed in blocking that city, but that might be just not enough, because you combine the scoreboard plus the threats. The advantage that Krisna has already surpasses the value of one meeple. And now, actually, this is not completely blocked, so a quite obvious move that's going to go here is this tile over here. In direct defense, with some curves already been used out. City cap pointed to the right. Probably debating whether to meeple that city or not. And it could go both ways. It's quite tricky for me to say. So I'll tell you some rationale. Some possible rationale. Now, the idea behind meepling this is, of course, to avoid leaving an empty city cap. The idea behind not meepling this is based on precisely this fact that napalmEye might need this tile. Well, he might need some city caps here, and he might need some city caps here. And he starts a new city here, which looks all great, but one of the reasons why I really didn't like this move at the start is because, yeah, when you go here, you kind of have to occupy the city. But the city is vulnerable. You see, two of these guys are already out. And if napalmEye gets something like... If Krisna gets something like a triangle tile, he might basically block this guy or restrict this guy severely. But fortunately for blue, blue gets the upper hand in this. I wanted to say mini battle, but that's not quite a mini battle. It's just simply a sensitive spot. Drops a farmer for 6 points. That looks just absolutely lovely. You see the exact stuff I was talking about. The exact stuff I was talking about, right? So now there's only one tile that fits into this square, and quite unlikely for blue to finish the city. Might have to settle for a ruin. But the good news for blue is that he drew the tile that goes here for Krisna's city. So Krisna also has only one tile that goes here. Has only one tile that goes here too. So if there's this straight line with a city, or also known as the starting tile. And now napalmEye is of course trying to complete his block, also drops a city cap in his field. And now let's see how much patience he has. Don't go here, don't save your opponent's city. I mean, of course, yeah, you have to go here, you have to take 2 points, free up your road. And then later on, you of course have to maybe try and block this square. Yeah, we can see Krisna defending. This was also one of the reasons for leaving the city cap empty. So you see, by leaving the city cap empty, Krisna allowed napalmEye the 4 points. napalmEye took the 4 points, but then this created a platform for blocking the square for the blocking square. So this straight line move placed here by Krisna actually restricted the amount of tiles, the number of tiles that go here to block, because you can only turn this curve that way, which is used for defending this little guy. And the only tile which would have worked would of course been a monastery with a road, and there are only 2 of those in the deck, and well, monasteries with a road are valuable for other reasons as well. So now Red has something going for him. It is blue with the advantage on the scoreboard, but Red's has a few meeples which are close to being blocked. So 50-50 shot to recover this guy. A bit less than 50 shot, well actually significantly less, I would say maybe like 30% shot to recover this guy. I'm accounting for the oh, no. That's a miss, I think, by napalmEye. Well, the reason I think it's a miss by napalmEye is it allows easy defenses. But now that I think about it, there weren't actually many good platforms to start the city anyway. But you see, so napalmEye now starts a new city, which could later on be in his field, but this allows for precisely stuff like this. So the same sort of shenanigans that Krisna pulled over here, which is defense of the blocking square, yeah, like restriction of the blocking square, so it's like the blocking of a blocking, right? And he now does the exact type of thing, because now after this move, only 2 blocking tiles that fit into this square, so tiles like this, triple series with a road, but with any one of the 5 Doritos with a road, Krisna gets to not only save his city, but also set up a 4-point loop road. But napalmEye has gotten his quick points from here, and is now trying to hurt Red here by blocking his monastery, and by blocking... Actually, yeah, I think going over here and blocking his monastery would be fantastic. But it's very difficult to see, because it's a city tile, and you're like kind of yeah. I think. Well, I can understand this move, but I think it was actually stronger to go here and block this square for a Sophie's Choice block. That's actually this tile would be needed by Red in this and this square. And I see Giannis's idea that he kind of wants to get away from harm's way, right? He wants to make sure that the city cap is not tied to this. He just wants to recover his meeple as soon as possible. But in reality, blue tying his city to this city piece is actually not at all that bad, because this square is fairly safe. And it's only possible to block this square by blocking this city as well. So I think a potential missed opportunity here for blue. Still, like 2 extra city points is not that bad of a deal, and he might still have a chance to block this monastery later on. But the worst possible outcome, yeah, is something interesting. So krisna chooses not to defend over here. Well, Giannis will be super happy to see that. He's, of course, will instantly go over here. Well, I mean, not instantly because it's Giannis, but like very quickly. He go over here and block this road. On the other hand, this monastery is still alive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, it's not actually that easy to save because you need a curve and another curve, or a curve and a curvoid. Yeah, it's quite interesting. But well, let's think about this. So now that krisna has his meeple blocked here, now it seems to me that the advantage certainly is on blue's side. Blue has the meeples. Blue has a threat to finish a 6-point city and further his meeple advantage. Blue has a fantastic farmer, which is a insurance for this city being completed, because as soon as red gets a farmer here, or gets a tile here, he'll get his meeple back, but this will add 2 more cities to this field and will just expand it uncontrollably. So just like in the previous game, a lot will depend on timing. All right, so Sergey Zaharenko, hi. Yeah, so why am I saying their elo peak is roughly 200 points apart, and it shows in the little things, that's true, but those little things really add up. And look, I mean, so far, Giannis' game has been solid. Like, all his moves have a purpose, but in those tricky situations where you kind of need to choose really, really the best option, I would say that krisna so far, well, in the first game, definitely. I mean, but krisna is just like easily one of the best players in the world, so I'm not like surprised by any of that. All right, so Giannis gets a monastery, which will be promptly blocked by krisna. Still, I mean, I would have meepled that monastery in a heartbeat. It's still worth doing. It's a 50-50 shot of getting the meeple back, and even if you don't, it's easy 8 points. And it's a very closed board, so you don't like need your meeples for anything super urgently. So as napalmEye, I probably go here and try to finish the block of Red's monastery. Yeah, I think if Red managed to recover this monastery, that would really, really be a big L for us. Because, well, for us, because yeah, I have to say I'm kind of a bit openly rooting for blue, because this means if blue wins, we get a 3rd game, and if krisna wins, well then, you know, that's it, game over, match over. So I wanted, of course, always to watch more Carcassonne. Ouch. Well, so the good news for napalmEye is that he draws the tile that fit to this square. So this meeple is trapped. The bad news for napalmEye is that he might get 2 of his meeples trapped. The not so bad news is that actually he needs to realize that there are very few blocking tiles available. There are only 2 curves in the deck, because like a curve is what would really hurt blue. That would make is 2 meeples blocked, or 1 meeple almost blocked and the other one blocked completely. A straight line doesn't hurt at all. A crossroads kind of hurts, but krisna, of course, would be sacrificing 2 points in going here. Yeah, so this really is like should not be that scary. Now this move I will be quite critical of. I don't really see that it accomplishes that much, and normally you don't actually want to be restricting your city next to your monastery, because there are some scenarios how you draw this tile yourself, and then you get to meeple your new city, and you don't want to have it in a restricted place. It could be possible that actually maybe you want to restrict that city to make sure that when you finish the monastery and realize that you need meeples for other stuff, then you can safely leave the city empty because it's already restricted. So it's a very, very subtle moment here. So this is actually something that blue might have thought, but still, going over here was way better, because now, for example, Krisna can just go here and try and finish his monastery with a curve. But had this straight line been already here, this move would not have been possible, just because it's so easy to block. That said, though, Krisna probably not gonna block. I think Krisna's just gonna go here. I mean, Krisna's not gonna place his monastery here. He'll probably still keep waiting for the two curves. Yeah, if I were Krisna, I wouldn't bother. I would just go here and restrict this city. Because, first of all, this would be a complete block of the monastery. That's already something. And a 50-50 restriction for this city in a close position like this, already when blue needs the dagger in this spot as well, it's actually a very, very powerful move. So we might see some connection issues on the part of Krisna, because we see that he has gone gray. But Krisna shocks me. Instead, he goes for his own monastery. I'm so surprised. That doesn't look like his style at all. So now napalmEye needs to decide whether to try and block this monastery or to go over here and threaten the completion of his city up top. He goes for threatening the city. I really like it. Now, well, surely now we're going to see some sort of block. But will we, though? Because you see, if you go here, yeah, exactly. So he doesn't want to block this square, because he decides that these three of those are still in the deck, like three of the city splitters. If he were to go over here, napalmEye could just easily split. Yeah. Now, napalmEye is forced to drop another farmer, because you don't want to allow your opponent to get a tile, well, basically to drop a farmer with tempo, with a curve plus a farmer. And we also know that this over here absolutely will be, well, it's super likely to become a 4-point city by somebody, and then it'll be 3 points extra to blue's farm. This move here early by Krisna, of course, restricted this square to a 50-50, I believe. Yeah, so there's still one square, one tile, and one tile only that fits here. So if napalmEye gets it, I think it will be... But he doesn't get it. Krisna wins the coin flip. So of course only net 5 points, but it's still huge tile for Krisna. 7 extra points. And also this meeple is now blocked. And difficult situation here for napalmEye. But what napalmEye needs to realize is that actually his situation is not that bad. He needs to simply protect his fields. If he can manage to dodge an invasion here or here, yeah, I think this was not the move. I think the move actually was not to take the 1 point, but the move was to go over here and disallow Krisna's invasion, because he'll very easily invade here on the left. I mean, he'll invade on the right as well, but the thing with invasions of the right is that they're all blockable, and there's only one curve remaining anyway. So this invasion at the bottom is by far more dangerous, especially since this field is more valuable. Now, both fields are 9 points, but this is 9 points with extra potential. There's still a city cap that goes here. There are still multiple city caps, well, 2 city caps that go over here. So it's a potentially 15-point field. So I think this 1 point really doesn't do that much for Giannis's winning chances as would be protecting this field from invasion. And you see immediately we can see the result of that. So now Giannis is probably forced into something much more gambly. So I think the move for us has to get to go here and just leave the city cap open. Maybe we hope to draw, or no, actually we could just meeple the city, maybe even. It's hard to say. I mean, it's easy to gamble with another player's meeples when you're commentating, but when you have only one in hand, it's really tough. So if we place it here, maybe we can get 6 points for the city and restrict this square. And there's some scenarios how red connects, but we get those city points. Also, there's something to be said about maybe... No, it's too early. I know that Giannis is thinking about this, but if we go here and drop a farmer to reinvade, that wouldn't be disciplined enough. That's way too early to do that with 11 tiles remaining, whilst there is still a starting tile and a barbed wire tile to take advantage of for quick points. Still a couple of crossroads. We really need those quick points as blue. Because as blue, actually, even though I'd say our situation is not great, we are ahead. Because look at this. So 3-3, 7 points blocked, right? 7 points. So Krisna's up 14. Okay, 16 now after this. But we have the 7-point monastery, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we have the 7-point city. So actually, even if Krisna successfully invades both fields, we can probably still win if we draw enough stuff. Like, if we just draw this tile, for example. So we can see that napalmEye is trying to block this invasion square, but I actually, even before this tile was drawn, I was going to suggest this move to restrict the quick points and to restrict the field invasion as well. So, yeah, and you see, like, Krisna not gonna bother invading because he knows it's still possible. Now with these 5 quick points, it's definitely harder to invade. But this is a great tile for Giannis. He can go over here and basically bring this game entirely to a coin flip. Because I think that if he goes here, he still wins quite easily if he gets this tile. Because if he goes here, this means that he denies this guy an invasion. Yeah, this is exactly what happens. You see, so Krisna had a curve, but he can't invade anymore. So he probably has to go over here and try to invade this. In some scenarios, he might even actually protect this field, though that's less likely. And if only Giannis can draw this tile, then he can just put it here and score 4 points. Well, 7 points, actually, because it's also 3 extra for his field, or even 9 points. If it's on his last tile, he gets to go over here and drop a farmer. Bam, 9 points. That's the victory right there. Well, Krisna's really going into the tank. 140 remaining on his clock. I mean, he's probably... So you see, here's the issue. Like, he wants to invade, right? But if he invades, this will reduce some of his scoring potential. Because there's still this tile available, and there's still a horse available, I believe. So 2 scoring tiles that he will have to pass up on potentially. Another option might be... No, I think he kind of has to invade and hope to draw this tile soon. I really don't see that many options for Krishna. Because he doesn't need to worry too much about this invasion, right? Because he already got 7 points worth of stuff recently. And the invasion would have been worth 6 points. So it's not like that important. I think if he just goes here... Oh, well, he just dumps the curve, and I believe we're headed to a decider because napalmEye draws the third starting tile. So just as in the first game, Krishna drew 3 of napalmEye's daggers. The second game, napalmEye draws the starting tile, and this block turns out to be successful. So I'm sure that the only consideration now is to whether meeple the field or just take 4 points. But taking 4 points is definitely best, because there are just no invasion spots to this field. And now Krishna has only 1 meeple, but there's still 2 fields that he needs to take care of. The field that he needs to take care of, yeah, so of course he needs to take the quick points first. And then Giannis can probably just... Actually, he can just take the 5-point ruin. And he doesn't even need to bother about the fields, because this surely should be enough. I mean, he has 9 points extra for the fields. He has the monastery, this ruin over here. I'm pretty sure that should overcome the 12-point deficit quite easily. And the best Krishna can do with the remaining tiles is to score 9. Here, and invade. And even for that, I'm not sure if there are tiles available. There probably are. Yeah, so... Well, I mean, that's actually quite a nice move. Not sure if that's necessary. I mean, it does protect the field. But Kristen's just going to score quick points. And then he'll hope... Oh no, he's just going to take the 6-point field straight up. Yeah, so actually this might have been a miscalculation on the part of Giannis, so lost 2 points here. If... because now knowing the run-out of tiles, we know that an invasion of the field wasn't actually possible at all. So I'm pretty sure we're going to see a 5-point city from Giannis now. But I don't think those 2 points will make a difference. What could they make a difference is the clock. Yeah, Wiseman is saying blue could partly protect the field on the right. Yeah, I was thinking of this idea just a few moves earlier. And we do get a city move. Oh, well. Yeah, so an invasion actually was possible. But an invasion was also blockable easily. So, I mean, of course, now knowing on the tile, it's easy to say that this move just kind of cost Giannis 2 points, but I don't think it should have influenced the outcome of the game, as he has so much stuff on the ruins and the fields and the 7-point monastery. Yeah, like in closed positions, a blocked monastery can really be powerful. Now, what a game. I thought blue had it really rough, but then suddenly all these blocked meeples. Yeah, plus 12 for napalmEye, and this is great news because we get to see a third game. And of course, I forgot to change the score as I frequently do. But yeah, it's not 0-0, it's already 1-1. And we're headed for a decider for the title and the spot. So, the spots in the Carcassonne Champions League. So, what are we having here? Krisna starting with a Cow City piece and napalmEye responding with a blue meeple on the roads, meepled indirectly. So the advantage of that move is that it creates an attacking platform against the city, which is immediately is taken advantage of. The disadvantage of this move is that it allows red easier road plays. Look at this, how very timely block by blue. Krisna was about to split off his 8-point city. And now napalmEye is probably going to split off his 3-point road, as he really should. Just needs to think a bit about the direction. Of course, this direction is better because if you point the city cap in other way, you'd be exposing a road end for a potential 6-point loop, not something that you want to give your opponent for free this early in the game. So, Krish with not the easiest decision here. I don't really see moves which are that productive, because like if you go here to hurt this meeple a little bit, you're kind of hurting your own. So instead he just expands his own city, but also makes it a bit more difficult to complete. So instead of just one city cap, he now probably needs 3 Doritos. Or 2 city caps. He might want to go for this move. This is an excellent monastery placement here from napalmEye, kind of helping out his own city and also controlling red's road. In some scenarios, maybe blue draws a big tile, goes over here, blocks the square, blocks this monastery of just 1 meeple, and blocks 2 meeples off his opponent in return for a net +1 meeple advantage. And Krisna leaving this option still open. I mean, I like the aggression here, I absolutely do. But a move that I was expecting was just something more conservative, which I think like 90% of players would have played. 90% of players would have just gone here, you know, indirectly completing the road, bringing your city almost to completion, but Krisna wants to be really, really efficient with his tiles. Yeah, so now we see that he's developing his field. Yeah, I really like that farmer, though. This is a bit of uncharacteristic of Giannis. He doesn't tend to drop farmers this early, but now this is totally justified. And red is forced to meeple. The sad meeple is city cap just to deny napalmEye the option of invading it. I would have preferred a second farmer here, actually. I would have preferred a second farmer, but yeah, because this field, it will be worth fighting for. Like, you see these 3 small cities, 4th one in the making, monastery spots, like a potential for road monastery move, by the way. Then like this expansion will be so huge that getting a second meeple here in early would be worthwhile. Now, of course, this is a fantastic tile for blue. Blue could go over here and try to kind of create a mini battle, block the square, and expand this ruin at the top. But the truth is, this position is too open for this sort of stuff to matter. Like, mini battles matter a lot in close positions. Now it's yeah, this is not the move that I would have liked. I would have preferred using the shield in your opponent and blocking the square. I think it was way better. I think it is a miss from Giannis. I mean, this move makes sense. Like, it protects the field, and it starts harassing the city. Like, it's a dual-purpose move. Like, it's great, but I think this block is stronger just because with 9 Doritos in the deck, you don't want to allow this. And I'm shocked at this move. Like, why Krisna doesn't want to finish the city from the other side? Like, so of course Giannis does get his benefit. He does get the benefit of being able to invade that city. But Krisna will now go over here, meeple this monastery, and prepare the completion of another city, which could be blocked, but still, like, I think that's just the move that you play. I could be wrong. He might actually not want to expand Blue's field. Well, anyway. So, I'm not going to say it's a big mistake. Like, I just think that it's not necessarily in the nature of the position. Because protecting the field, it's not going to matter long term. This position is too open. Like, for example, there's this invasion spot. And, of course, there's this monastery threat, which, by the way, now... Giannis, Krish does not want to use. So that's also another win for this farmer. I think the issue here was not so much expanding the field. It was more about not wanting to risk 2 meeples. Because like with this monastery here and with 2 Doritos already being used up, like, for example, a block like this, what napalmEye is trying to do here, this plus this, is a real possibility. Yeah, so actually, I wasn't just a fan of this move in the first place. I think just building it from this side and continue eroding directly was, a safer approach. Because now, for example, Krish is allowing easy invasions with a starting tile, continuing Red's monastery and Red's road and Blue's monastery at the same time. So that's, I guess, like, I can see the idea behind this move, because let's say once you put it here, what this move does is that it denies some easy invasion platforms. No, it denies an easy creation of an invasion platform. So what this move made sure. Ooh, wow. Okay, never mind. I'm not going to overanalyze this. Basically, I just want to say that sort of I see the idea behind Krishna's move, but I think it's too complicated, that playing simpler was actually better. I have to keep track with the action because this is a super interesting. So Giannis is, of course, trying to block the city. And he's 1 move away from drawing a straight line and maybe another curve, and then blocking this road and this city towards this square. And Krisna now cannot go over here and claim this monastery. Of course, that would be madness. So I think what he needs to do now is actually something... And a farmer, yep. Oh, no. I don't think you can... Yeah, you can't spend your last meeple, can you? Yeah, but this in direct defense, look at how beautiful it is. Because there are 2 monasteries, both already used up. This means that so that actually there are no blocking tiles that go into this square. So this is the idea that Chris does the first time this match. So, okay, so let's say he gets a... he doesn't invade the field. It's understandable. He wants to preserve... Well, I mean, he just wants to preserve a meeple for quick points. So, for example, there's a quick point opportunity here. So maybe should have thought twice before meepling this. Just making this move without a meeple was completely fine. Well, anyway, and the idea here, of course, that yeah, look at this, and he preserved the meeple precisely for stuff like this, so he gets the 3 points extra. Oh, Giannis, of course, is trying to protect his monastery, which was very close to being blocked, and now Giannis can. I think he should think about dropping a second farmer, because Krista will get good points here from this city, and like I would have gone here and dropped a second farmer. This move is legit okay. It's trying to block. I think it's being a bit too slow, but oh, this is a fantastic tile. This was the only blocking possibility. So I was about going to say that blocking tiles don't go into this square, and that the two only blocking tiles that are available are tiles like this. This is just incredible. So there are two blocking tiles, whilst there were 1, 2, 3, 7 curves that fit here to save both the city and the road, and 4 Doritos to finish the city, drop a farmer, and then invade through a curve. It's just, honestly, I would say, okay, so it's like, I mean, Red did everything in their power. It's an extremely improbable event that Blue drew one of 2 of his outs before Red drew one of 10 of his outs. I'm not sure what the chances of this are. Like, I haven't actually spent time on calculating this, but if I find out, I'll let you know. Well, what a turn of events. And it looks like it might be Giannis who will end up representing Latvia in the group stage of a Champions League. And Krisna might have to play in one of the qualifiers. I mean, it's still too early, though. Like, it's... And honestly, like, it's not such a huge loss. It's just 1 meeple. So, of course, 2 of Red's meeples are blocked, but 1 of Blue's meeples is blocked. And, yeah, if Red just manages to finish this city quickly enough, then he's absolutely still in it. Blue, in the meantime, is trying to block this city. And Blue draws the tile which Red would have loved to go over here and to maybe even drop a farmer, sort of to separate from this city. But it's not going to happen. As Blue now needs to think how to approach it strategically. I think the best move that you can play as Blue is just to go here and invade this city and also obstruct this monastery quite a bit, because 2 road monasteries are out, so monastery-shaped holds next to your monasteries are quite dangerous, but instead he goes for the farm, which is doable, but I don't really like this. So, several reasons here. First of all, he's not really using his meeple advantage to the maximum, because once you have this meeple blocked versus these 2, what you really want to do is just pick 1 farm and maximizing it. So if you're going to use the splitter for farmer, you're better off going over here and starting a new city, then getting the monastery and so on, and just kind of developing over here. Now, the idea behind this move, of course, it should allow maybe for all of these farms to be unified like this. And actually, now that I look at this, it's really likely. So I would say that Blue is still the favorite in this game, precisely because there could be a big field, which makes it difficult for Red to develop. But now Giannis is starting a 4-point road, developing his ruin over here, and I'm surprised that he has not invaded this city. Yeah, because I think so. You look, he had such a meeple advantage, and now that's all evaporated. I mean, of course, the meeple advantage will come back when he gets this curve, but once Red gets this city back, then it will be an even game. Yes, I really think that Blue had multiple chances to thwart the development of this city, and now if he does that, well, he'd be spending his last meeple, and I'm not sure if he should do that even. There's also not a good spot where he could drop his divider. Well, maybe here, actually. That's the one green square. Then you can get a monastery that goes here, expands the field, maybe pick off empty city caps like this and like this. So yeah, that's possibly doable. But yeah, so again, like, Blue is playing moves which make total sense, but I wonder if these are the best moves to take advantage of his situation. Because I would say, like, if Krisna finishes his city, drops a farmer, his position is just fine. Yeah, so you see, again, like, this move, it doesn't really do much. Like, it drops a city cap which is sort of kind of close to his farm, but it is well, it's not in his farm. Like, it's just being a bit too subtle in a position where you should be playing like with a sledgehammer. And also Krisna has started to draw a little bit better, so of course still waiting on his city cap. But, you know, some quick point tiles in the process certainly will help Red to consolidate. Well, finally, no, he doesn't invade, he just takes off the quick points. Again, could have been quick points here, could have been on his field. And now Krisna finishes his city, consolidates his position, and he'll probably drop a farmer as well. Yep. And now he'll draw a curve and complete his monastery, and will completely and utterly equalize his position. napalmEye will probably expand his field as he should. Yep, he goes, no! Oh no! I think it's Blue blundering. It looks like a juicy monastery spot for 7 points, and only 2 squares away from completion. But what's the catch? What's the catch? The monastery is already blocked. This square is blocked, and I guarantee you, I don't think that this was a conscious decision to take the 7 points. Like, closer to the end of the game, it makes total sense to do that. In closed positions, it makes total sense to do stuff like this. But I don't think this is what happened. I think that Blue just forgot. Like, it happens to many players. I've seen this in casual games a lot. Like, you meeple the monastery, and then, because it looks so lucrative, that spot, but then the next move you realize, oh, it's already blocked. So yeah, in a position like this, a meeple is worth definitely way more than 8 points, with all these fields waiting to happen. And well, the good news for Giannis is that he's not lost, actually. He still has somewhat of an advantage, because he has an advantage on the scoreboard. When Krisna finishes this monastery, Krisna will have an advantage on the scoreboard. But Giannis has this mini battle going, so he's going to have 16 for the monasteries versus 3 for the road, plus 3 for the city, plus 4 for the city. So versus 10, so he's going to still have like a plus 6. And he has an ever so slight advantage over here, and an ever so slight advantage over here. So he's going to be like a couple points ahead. But the point is, like, if you're gonna draw a game decisive miracle like this, well, then you don't want a tiny advantage. You want a gigantic advantage. Because sure, like, it looks like blue is about to connect all the fields, but that's because already blue dropped 2 farmers. Krisna will just easily drop another farmer and equalize. And blue can't drop any more farmers because blue has only 1 meeple remaining. So it will be a game of chicken until the end. And I have a feeling that Krisna will manage to somehow find a swindle. Like, either he'll find some sort of... Because, like, these positions are so sensitive. Like, you need to know when exactly to deploy your last meeple and fight for the field. Because you might need your meeple to score quick points, or you might forgo the quick point and just drop that farmer if it isn't in such position that disallows your opponent reinvading that field. So it will be it is a position that requires just surgical precision. So Krisna will probably go here, drop a farmer. Like, I can't imagine a different move. Yeah, he decides to drop a farmer like this to not allow reinvasion platforms. And this is also a very efficient way of dropping a farmer, because there were, at the time of placement, 3 Doritos that go over here, which would connect both fields, but red already needs the Dorito there anyway to equalize the slightly larger and the slightly more prosperous city of napalmEye. So this is, again, being quite efficient. And as Giannis, like, what do you even do? I don't think you do much. You just wait. Like, you wait, you draw quick point tiles, and then at the very end, you try and invade and steal the field. I think that's how you win, as either player. Yeah, so what was, I would say, almost a one-sided game has turned out into something that's just incredibly close. All right, so Giannis is trying to block the invasion, which honestly, it makes actually a lot of sense, because, you know, it's not impossible for him to draw all 3 Doritos. And if Giannis draws all 3 Doritos, well, first of all, he will preserve this tiny advantage in this mini battle, and then he will need to... and then this will also mean that Krisna will need a straight line to invade the field. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's only 1 of those remaining. And somebody's going to grab a crossroad and score quick points over here for this road. And then after that, napalmEye could place a tile over here and block the square completely. And give himself like a 12% chance of just winning the game outright. You know, it's not the worst idea. You really need to add these little things. Okay, so Krisna just starting a new city, realizing that there are a lot of city caps. And now a lot will depend on how soon he draws a city cap to recover his meeple. So napalmEye has one nasty move here. He could go over here at the same time, threatening a 6-point city. Yeah, he does this. And also threatening a block of Krisna's city. But he draws neither, but he draws the 4-point road, which he should claim. I love that move so much by blue. And it also protects the field connection. So Krisna should probably now connect. Just give himself a little bit of an insurance. You know, what if he never draws a tile that goes here? There isn't a better use for the straight line anyway. But if he finds a better use, actually no, maybe he might want to block this city. and just simply bank on the chance that at this point, him drawing one of the 3 tiles, it's probably over 90% chance. Yeah, what did, okay, he doesn't decide to invade. Now, interesting, what will napalmEye do? Does he want to connect all the fields and give his opponent tempo? Or does he want to keep it peaceful and simply block this city? The reason why I say block is because all 3 of these guys are out and all 5 of these guys are out. So all 5 vanillas and all 3 splitters, and all 3 vertical splitters. And actually the only tile that fits into this place are the ones which are, well, are the daggers. They're 2 daggers. So if you place a curve in a way that makes a dagger no longer fit there, you remove that volatility from the board. You remove the opportunity for either party to score 6 points. And if you're ahead, which I believe Giannis ever so slightly is, it's something that you are interested in. And if you are behind, which I believe Giannis isn't, is something that you are not interested. Well, if it's something that you're not interested in doing, you want to keep that volatility on the board. How we're doing for score? So krisna is 5 points ahead on the board, on the scoreboard, but 5 points are immediately compensated by this city. krisna has 3 for city, 3 for road, and 7 for city. That's 13, and napalmEye has 15 for these 2 monasteries. So actually napalmEye is 2 points ahead, which could be very crucial points. Yeah. Well, I'm just very curious to see what napalmEye does, and kind of it really will tell you what kind of player he is, like what kind of route does he want to go. So for example, like, I mean, so he could go here, or he could just connect the field, as I said, and go for the ultimate volatility. He could go here and try to attack this 12-point field, which I don't think is a good idea just yet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, still 2 curves remaining to do that though. Or he could go here and try to score a 4-point road. I believe the best move is to block the volatility though, because it just... So, in Carcassonne, I think it's good to postpone decisions. Kind of like the opposite of life. Well, sometimes like life. But also sometimes it's good to not postpone decisions. Basically keeping your win condition flexible, and then wait until the final tiles, see what the final run out of tile is, and then make your decision accordingly. I mean, will krisna block this? I don't think he will. I think he'll just go here and like create a 4-point road. This is what I would expect for him. Giannis has only 14 seconds on the clock. I hope he used some of that time for counting, because tile counting will be absolutely crucial here. So for example, if I'm playing this, if I'm trying to come up with winning scenarios, one thing that I'm looking at is scoring tiles. Like, what are the scoring tiles? What are... and I can see that there are 2 daggers and only 1 scoring spot. And I can see that there is 1 crossroads and 1 scoring spot here. So a chance to take 3 and 6. And I think the reason why krisna is not blocking here, he's realizing that he can actually win by just being the first to claim this city. Because look at this. He takes 6 for this city, and then let's say Giannis draws a crossroads, takes 3. Krisna was down 2. With 6 extra points, Krisna's up 4. Yeah, so this is the wrong dagger, but the correct dagger still exists. You can see that neither player chose the 4-point road. I think given how many daggers and how many curves, actually I think this was a neglected scoring opportunity. I really think that this is something Giannis should have maybe tried. Because now actually what Krisna can do, well, he can actually go here and drop a farmer and use the dagger as an invading tile for the field, and then he can use the Dorito to connect the cities and finish this shared city and get 3 extra points for the field. I think that might be his path to victory. An alternative, like a softer approach, is going here and simply starting a new city. So this would be blocking this 6-point city 6-point opportunity for Giannis and opening up a 4-point opportunity for himself. The problem with that is that's still a little bit too subtle. If Giannis just gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah, the last crossroads, Giannis will be up 5. Krisna finishes the city for 4 points, he will still be up 1. So he might just still lose it. I mean, this is fascinating. Yeah, he goes for that approach. And Giannis now needs to think hard. So he might want to go here, but does he meeple this city? Because I think he might want to do that. There's still starting tiles. There's still multiple city caps available, and you want to meeple this. You don't leave this open. You don't leave this open because your opponent will have... Whoa. Well, this is interesting. This is very, very interesting. And Giannis gets a bigger city than Krish. And is this a win for Giannis? Not necessarily. Because there's still a dagger. There's still options to invade the field. Krisna is down 8 points, I believe. Sorry, 10 points. He'll be down 8 points after he connects here. He can win a 12-point field. They'll put him up 4. But Giannis can take a 6-point field himself. Oh, actually, Krisna can win a 15-point field. So I believe that Krisna does have a path to victory still. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ah, no, there are no curves. Yeah. No path to victory for Krisna. Unbelievable. You still have to connect though, like what else do? Yeah, you get the 2 points. napalmEye gets a useless tile, which is just absolutely great for Krisna. And then Krisna will try and invade. But no, it's not possible to invade because the final tiles are... Wait a second. No, it is possible. Okay, I believe that the final tiles are 2 daggers and a Dorito. And if Krish draws the 2 daggers, he wins by 1 point exactly. Hear me out. Okay, napalmEye needs to dump this tile somewhere. Then Krish uses the first dagger to invade over here. napalmEye draws the Dorito. The Dorito is shieldless, so he'll go over here for 5 points. He cannot claim the 6-point field. Krisna Yeah, this doesn't matter exactly where this go. Krishna, oh my god, this is happening. This is actually happening. 1, 2, 3. Yes, this is a dagger and Dorito. Krishna goes here, drops a farmer, and he wins not a 12 but a 15-point field, because this city will also be completed. This will put him up +7. Giannis will get this Dorito towel that will put him, give him 5 more points, and Krishna will win this by 2 points. I think this is happening. No, no. So this is losing, of course. I'm quite sad. Now it's anticlimactic because Giannis drew this towel anyway, but Krishna missing the opportunity to score extra 2 points with the city over here. That's so uncharacteristic of him. So then I think it's kind of a fair outcome, because if Krishna were to connect over here, then he'd be gaining only 12 points instead of 15, which makes all the difference. So I think he just didn't see that idea of connecting to the field through here. So yeah, what a game. Well, such a roller coaster. First of all, the miraculous block by Giannis, and then the loss of a meeple on the 8-point monastery by Giannis. Yeah, look at this again. 14-point difference, right? 14-point difference, which means that if he invades the fields for 12, it's not enough. He needed to try and invade the field for 15 through here. Oh man, that would have been such a move. Well, we do congratulate Giannis though on quite the comeback. 3 games where the position looked quite difficult. The third one, I'd say, unnecessarily close. But that's exactly what he wants. Anyway, so happy that I chose to stream this. And Giannis won against everybody. That's quite incredible, actually. So Latvia doesn't have the easiest opponents, as you may know. Yeah, also, by the way, I saw a question earlier why I wasn't playing. Yeah, I lost to Giannis earlier, to Krishna as well. And even though I qualified for the playoffs, not for the finals, but for the semifinals of the Latvia Online Championship, I then got my elo up a lot on Board Game Arena. And that actually matters. So I'll tell you why. So we're going to go on Carcassonne.gg just to show what's going to happen to these players. No, that's something else. So CCL qualifications, players. I forgot how to. I mean, there's just so much stuff. Anyway. Yeah. So Latvia. So you see several spots now. The winner of the championship goes to the group stage of Carcassonne Champions League. Giannis and the winner of the pair Norbans 96 Silent Monk, which haven't happened yet, so that was going to be third place match. Then the winner of them will also go to the first international qualifier. And now that's actually quite interesting. So I'm not exactly sure what happens to Krishna, because he was eligible for a different qualifier for a Q3 as the Mind Sports Olympiad winner. Because you see there's this, let's just look at the qualifications, right? So there are 4 ways of qualifying. First is like you win a national championship. Second, you come close to winning the national championship, which is what now happened to Krishna. And you play sort of with all of these guys, right? Then there's a different qualification for countries which have a lower rating and less of a Carcassonne presence. Then the third one, that's the interesting one. So that's the competition qualification for winners, for other competition winners. So Krisna won the Mind Sports Olympiad, and then of course we have the World Team Carcassonne Online Championships and all the other continental championships as well. And so then Krisna, yeah, could either play in this qualifier or in the qualifier with you know, all the sort of the regular route. And there is qualification 4, which is the reason why I'm not playing, because I recently got my ELO up by accident, and now I'm eligible to play here, which is simply the top 8 highest rated players on Board Game Arena. I do happen to have the #1 spot, at least temporarily, and if nobody's gonna take it away, if 8 people are not gonna take it away in 4 days, then I will be playing in this 4th qualifier for top 8 rated players on Board Game Arena, and then 2 of those qualify for the main stage. So I just chose this route of qualification. And also, I didn't want to get destroyed by Krisna and napalmEye in the finals, because I think this is exactly what would have happened. Alrighty, yeah, so that just answers one of your questions from earlier. Convoluted system, but I like it so much. I love convoluted systems, and I think the way it's made, it's quite similar to the Football Champions League in Europe, if I understand it correctly. So there are also kind of multiple routes, and higher rated countries have more spots, and so on and so on. Alrighty, yeah. So this concludes the championship, and congrats to napalmEye, and good luck to Krisna in one of the qualifiers. I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen now. And thank y'all so much for watching. See you tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. Oh, okay. So first of all, yeah, tomorrow Chile, Chilean semifinals of their online championships. So do make sure to watch that. That's going to be actually at 19:30 UTC. I'll put an announcement a few hours beforehand. To answer more questions, Kirill Manikov is saying, is it cool to ask to vote for Ukraine in the fan poll? Yeah, sure. I mean, I say that Ukraine absolutely deserves it. Just want to make my viewers what we're talking about. So if we look at the qualification 3, it will have all the winners of these competitions. Wait. Yeah, list of players, you can see. So King of Carcassonne, that's like a turn-based tournament, a series of turn-based tournaments. Then, of course, Mind Sports Olympiad Grand Prix, Continental Championships, and World Championships. And we have this thing for fans' choice, and it's basically just people will vote 2 countries in to have an extra player for a shot at the spot of the Carcassonne Champions League, which I think it's all great, but I change up the system a little bit. I would make sure that you can't vote for your own country, because at the moment now, basically the countries that the biggest Carcassonne communities are the ones which are voting the most. But yeah, sure, you can feel free to ask for to vote for Ukraine. Ukraine absolutely would deserve a spot. And if you look at the main one, so actually now only it has been narrowed down to 4 countries: Spain, Ukraine, Brazil, and it looks like the icon of Colombia, but I'm not sure. At least it looks like that. So what I was going to say. Oh yeah, and of course you can vote here. But I can't vote because, well, for some, like, voters from certain countries aren't eligible. Voters from countries who have 4 or more spots and the qualifiers are not eligible. It's a very interesting voting system. Anyway, just go to Carcassonne GG and check everything out for yourselves. Yeah. All right. Hi, Krish. Hi, napalmEye. Yeah. Wiseman is just saying winning the Latvian qualifier would have led to a direct ticket. Well, I mean, winning is, first of all, that's really like question. I mean, like you saw who the players are, so that's really like definitely not even close to guaranteed. And second, I want to try and qualify with the top rated ELO players. I mean, because I believe like if I can't get, like, I mean, my belief is like if I can't get past that qualifier, I shouldn't be like I shouldn't be playing in the Champions League, and like I will have to play all the strongest players anyway at some point, like in the playoffs if I want this. And also, of course, like playing is fun, but since I came in third, well, shared third, I busted up in the semifinals in last year Carcassonne Champions League. I want to obviously try and aim for the finals in this one. So yeah, and also like even strategically, there's it's in some sense better because obviously you have like the strongest possible players and that's qualification, but there you have 2 spots out of 8 players, and in all the other qualifications there are more than 8 players who participate, so there's like more competition. Oh, well, yes, and the latter point, of course, was something that was a consideration as well. Alrighty, see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.